Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the Gamut Network. I really try to speak to all of the guests before the interview to just really understand and get to know them and etc. But there was one part of the story that we're about to hear that I said, wait, I don't want to know in advance because I want to reveal it during the show. So I am equally as excited to meet Chris and hear all about his story and his journey. So Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mindy.
So wonderful to have you. Can we first start, take us back to 24 years old. Tell us what happened in Chris's life.
So at 24, back in 2015, I was just a normal 24-year-old, just hung out with friends, worked. And at the time, I worked for a metal company, and I had a accident in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I was heading back to the shop, end of the workday type thing, and I'm not really sure what led up to me hitting the back of an 18-wheeler, but I ended up, I do remember looking up and seeing what I was about to hit. Tried to slam on the brakes, but I didn't have enough room to stop, and so I smacked into the back of his trailer, and I was driving at the time what's called a cab over truck. And if anybody's familiar, cab over trucks are flat in the front, and you're basically sitting at the windshield. So everything came in on top of me. My leg was pretty much cut off right there at the scene of the accident. However, the artery got pinned, which kept me from bleeding to death. And I also took some injuries on my left leg as well. And so my kneecap was all the way over, so they had to go in and repair some ligaments. And then on my hip, the ball pushed through the socket and it ruptured my pelvis, so I've got plates and screws over there. And just due to all that, I have the common name is foot drop. It's from my nerve, excuse me. It's from my nerve damage that I took on, and so my foot just hangs down, and so I wear an AFO brace to hold my foot up.
And an AFO brace, my son Oliver wore those too, just to fill everybody in, is a brace that you wear that goes into your shoe, and it will his come over his ankles. Does yours?
So I actually have a pretty cool one that I got a couple years back. I was for the first few years I had the style that goes inside of the shoe. However, due to my nerve issues, I would get like burning sensation and stuff like that on the bottom of my foot. And my prosthetic office told me about a new model from a company called it's Turbo Med is what it's called. I can't remember the full name, but yeah, it's easy to Google. And but you actually have attachments that go on the shoelaces, and then you attach the AFO over or through the those attachments, and so it's all outside of the shoe. And
oh my God! Is it possible to show us?
I can try.
Let's see. Let's see the whole visual.
Let's see here. I might take my shoe off, and that sounds kind of crazy, but that's going to be the easiest way.
Okay.
I probably should have cleaned my shoes if I would
have. Don't worry. We're all inclusive here. Dirty shoes, clean shoes.
On the spot. So here it is. Well, I'll take. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, all outside of the shoe. And
so
I will
that's
show
more
you.
Comfortable. It's more comfortable.
Yeah, it's way. At least for me, in my case, it's way.
Yeah.
So you have these. I took it off just to show you. So you have these clip-ons.
Uh-huh.
And you get these, and you basically zip tie them onto the shoelaces.
So brilliant.
And then it's
a
really
lot
simple,
easier. And then you can wear any shoe you want, which is a challenge for us.
Yeah.
Sure. He can't wear high tops. He can't wear certain sneakers that he can't fit his AFOs in. So this solves that problem.
Yeah, it solves a lot of issues. For me, it was mainly comfort. Oh, and I'm allowed to, or I can somewhat actually bend my ankle a little bit.
Oh, great.
Nice as well. Whereas with a normal AFO, you're not able to do that.
Right. So on that, you have that on one of your legs, and the other leg has a prosthetic.
Yep. So
Okay.
I'm a through the knee amputee. Um,
Through the knee. And what does
yeah, it's
that
kind of
mean? What does that
a
mean?
so my setup is very similar to a above the knee, but the reason they did that was, well, for one, um, from the accident, I started out below the knee. Um, a like general surgeon did the cleanup, and then a more specialized surgeon came in later, said, "Oh, that's not going to heal properly." So I actually had to go back in a
Mm,
couple days later, and they called a local prosthetic office and asked some opinions on some things. And you're actually able to bear more weight if you're through the knee versus above the knee. And so you don't have to go up as high with the socket if you're through the knee versus above above the knee. And so um, it because otherwise, if you go above the knee, you have to go up into the groin
yes,
area
yes,
and
yes.
socket. And so they did that for comfort reasons. But I do have to wear a prosthetic that's like a prosthetic knee. So it's similar in some ways for sure.
Definitely. So
Um,
now you're 24. Life has dramatically changed for you in pretty much a blink of an eye. Talk to us about mentally, emotionally, how you were during that time. Is it? I mean, you lost one of your legs, the other one you have to have support. Take us kind of back to that time in your life.
yeah, so at that time I was hanging out at USC Upstate in Spartanburg, South Carolina, going to Campus Crusade for Christ on Thursday nights. The common name is Crew. And I was at a hospital called Spartanburg Regional that's right down the road from USC Upstate. And so a lot of my friends from there were able to come see me and give me encouragement. I had a lot of family come see me. Um, People I didn't even know, like friends of friends came and saw me some, so that was cool. And so I had a lot of faith in God, and so that really helped me get through. I remember my mom, of course, coming to the hospital and crying, and I'm like, "Mom, God's got me. It's going to work out." I didn't know how, but I just had this faith that it was going to. And I'm glad I've been able to keep the faith over the years. But I will say though that what was hard for me was I had all these people at the hospital coming to see me constantly. I went to a physical therapy hospital called Roger C. Peace, and I did inpatient physical therapy there. And I got home, and not as many people were coming around. And so, I get it. People have lives, and but it that took a mental toll on me because it was like a high from all these people coming, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like nobody's showing up, and it's like, ugh, you know.
So was there a sense of loneliness? Was there a sense of what's next in my life? Where did that leave you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had both thoughts going on. I knew I couldn't go back to my job.
Mm,
Um, for one, I knew that I couldn't. I was having to lift, heavy like metal piping and stuff like that to put it on trucks and stuff, and I knew that just was not in my future anymore. And so I knew I couldn't do that job. And the company that I was with was small, and they had some office jobs there, but everybody that was in the office had been there a long time and was not going anywhere soon, and so there's just no positions available for that. Um, and as far as what was your other question? Sorry.
I just, no, don't worry. I just was, but you answered it really. It was really
Okay,
about,
cool.
mentally the loneliness, the notion of people going back to their lives, and your life has changed, and
Yeah.
you have to now kind of pick up the pieces and find your new normal, and find your path. And one of the aspects that I was so excited to find more about in our pre-chat was this notion of North American Rescue. Tell me about that, and how that came, how it fell into your lap, so to speak.
Yeah. So it's really interesting how all that came about. Um, so I didn't work for nearly about 5 years just because I was working through some things, workers' comp and stuff like that. And so um, North American Rescue, little crazy side note, they actually distribute the tourniquet that saved my life.
Wow.
Yeah. So um, yep, they sure do. And I know this because I'm actually really good friends with the paramedic that came on scene to my accident. Crazy how that all worked out, and I've been able to keep up in contact with him over the years. And so, he's told me that he used the cat tourniquet on me. And yeah, as far as the United States goes, they're the only one that distributes the cat tourniquet. So,
Wow.
but yeah, so when all that came about, that was pretty amazing. But I knew that North American Rescue was right up the road for me. Um, but I didn't know what kind of potential jobs or anything could be up there for me. But they actually found me. Um, they went to, um, so my boss, Mark, he's an amputee as well. And he went to Hanger Clinic, the prosthetic company that I go to. And I think he just went there because he has some friends that work there. And he was like, "Oh, he's new. He's fairly new to the company as well." He's like, "I've got this new job. Um, and also too, we have some positions for this gig, but because of medical laws, they can only say so much."
Yes.
However, what they did was they gave me his business card, told me a little bit of the job description, and
What was the job description?
so the job description as is that we go to military bases and law enforcement agencies, mainly federal, I think, but and we act out emergency scenarios for their first aid training. And so I'm really good for tourniquet training, and of course I can, act out other things as well. But
That
so
is so amazing. That so now
yeah,
your vocation is helping first responders,
yeah,
be able to treat people like you,
yeah,
like
for
what
sure.
you needed, after your accident. So, wow, the
Yeah,
fate of that,
yeah,
the
yeah. How
amazement that
it
this
came
is
all
what
together
you're.
for sure.
That is incredible. So that's what North American Rescue does. They help train in, is it emergency situations or first aid in general?
So the main thing they do is that they distribute the medical supplies. Um, from what I understand, they bought out another company that was doing the training and stuff. I'm not sure how long ago. I haven't been with North American Rescue too long, but
Mhm.
so um, anyways, they're trying to bring this. They have a West Coast office out of Las Vegas, and they're trying to bring this to the East Coast. And I'm actually the first person they've hired to do this on the East Coast.
Great.
Yeah, so it was a really cool opportunity that I couldn't pass up.
And
And
so is this, in a way, cathartic for you, that you can take something that happened to you personally and use it to help others, and ultimately save lives?
yeah, for sure. It's it's mind blowing to me, really. Just how it all came about, how easy the interview was. Me and my boss went to lunch had a very casual conversation, kind of like we're just having.
Yes.
After having lunch, pretty much said as long as HR approves you, you have the job. Yeah,
It's
we just kind of swapped
amazing.
our
What
stories.
a fabulous twist of fate
Yeah,
that
for
is.
sure.
I just love that, and I'm happy I didn't know about it before
Yeah,
the interview because it's really awesome.
yeah.
Chris, if people have other questions for you or they want to chat with you more, what's the best way to connect with you?
You can find me on Instagram at
Okay,
Chris Rains 1.
and that's
Um,
RAINS1.
yep,
The
yep.
strange one. Okay, perfect. Because
Correct.
other may possibly new people to the world of amputees might have some questions for you
Yeah,
or anything else. So I always like to give people the opportunity to
yeah, for
connect with you.
sure, for
But
sure. I would love
be-
that.
yeah, before we go, I'd like to ask all of my guests one final question, and that's about the power of a vision board, a place where you can put your hopes and dreams and wishes, or who you want to meet, or what you want to accomplish in this lifetime, all in one place, whether that is on a physical board or it's in your head or your heart. If we had to take a peek at Chris's vision board, what would be on it?
Wow. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot. But and that's probably why you gave me a little bit less than 10 minutes for the last question.
Yes.
So a little bit of background on myself. Um, I really was not into exercising at all until my accident, and I got to a point where, both legs were messed up, and I was gaining weight sitting in the wheelchair. I got to a point where I just wasn't mentally well, needed to do something. So I got involved in weightlifting. Took me a
Mm.
little bit to get there. Definitely wasn't an overnight thing, but after I started doing that, it's kind of pretty much become an everyday thing. So started off with that, and then started following some people on Instagram that I find inspirational, that are amputees that are getting after it. And become friends with a few of them. And so,
Who in particular? Or is there
um,
somebody that you would love to connect with that you haven't
yeah.
yet?
So there's a girl that I talk to a good bit, Kirsty Ennis, and so yeah,
Great.
she's always been really sweet to me, and we've connected well. She's 4 days older than me, so that's pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's fun.
Yeah. But so anyways, I'd like to meet her. She's always been really kind to me. So
Amazing.
um, yeah. Uh, but anyways, going from the weightlifting, I kind of got involved in some other sports as well. Roger C. Peace, the physical therapy hospital I went to, is great, and so they offer some, outside of the physical therapy hospital sports stuff. So I got into sled hockey with them,
Amazing.
and so yeah, so we go to a local arena and play. Not like an official game, just little pickup games. But hey, it gets us out on the ice and exercising, and so we enjoy doing that. And that was the first thing I picked up with them. And then I started riding hand cycles with them. I believe it was last year, and so um, you know, started doing that, and then it was like, I might want one of these hand cycles of my own because I'm having to borrow one every time, and that's fine. But I'd like to get to a point to where I can compete, and so
I
I
think that's
actually,
some Paralympics in your future. I think
yeah,
that's what I'm
potentially,
seeing on the vision board.
yeah, potentially. I've definitely thought about that for sure. So I applied for a hand cycle through the Challenge Athletes Foundation, and
Amazing organization.
I recently found out that I'm getting one. So,
Amazing.
yeah, so um, a friend of mine that works at Roger C. Peace, she wrote me a really sweet reference and stuff, and so I've tried to. I'm going to try to include her in the rest of the process of getting it. And so since she was there from the beginning of helping me get it, and so I'm actually going to be eating dinner with her tonight. But
Oh, great.
yeah. So anyways, I'm gonna let her help me with getting everything, the remaining paperwork and all that, and getting it. So
I love it. I love with the new path that life brought you post the accident, and who knows, maybe we'll be cheering for you at the Paralympics and seeing you compete around the world. It would be awesome.
Let's hope so.
I love it. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure to talk to you and hear your story and your positive attitude. And I think you're going to bring a lot of hope and joy to a lot of listeners out there.
Thank you, Mindy. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure talking with you as well today.
Thank you. If you would like to be on the Gamut Network, please email us at talent@gamutmanagement.com to tell us why you'd be a great guest. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Gamut Network, as well as follow us on all the social platforms of Gamut Management. Thank you again.
Thanks, Mindy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.